What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the newest generation Mercedes-Benz G Wagon. Big shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this G Wagon for today's video. Take a look at their website, linked down below. They have an awesome selection of nearly brand new pre-owned cars just like this. And the model that we're looking at today is a G550, finished off in Designo Platinum Black Metallic, and has a list price around the $170,000 mark. Underneath the hood of the G550, you're going to find the 4-liter bi-turbo 8-cylinder engine. This twin-turbo V8 pumps out 416 horsepower with 450 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to the 9-speed automatic transmission and sends the power to all 4 wheels. The curb weight is around 5,500 pounds and it runs on a 26.5-gallon fuel tank. You're looking at 13 miles per gallon in the city with 17 out on the highway and a 0 to 60 time around 5.6 seconds. The overall length is 191.7 inches with wheelbase at 113.8. Height is 77.5 and width is 86.1 inches. The G550 can also tow about 7,000 pounds. And then now moving on to the exterior styling with Mercedes' famous G Wagon. This is an extremely unique styled SUV. I absolutely love how unique these are. We get a massive chrome grille guard. You can see how it spans from one side to the other, connecting into the bumper. We also get a set of round LED headlights that have LED daytime running lights, and you can see all the body colors surrounding them. Right in the center, we get a massive grille with a ton of openings to allow air to enter to cool down this engine. We get a huge Mercedes logo and then a body color bumper down below. There's parking sensors all integrated with more functional mesh to allow maximum cooling. Then we even get a tow hook down below. This has a really unique design all up front, extremely squared off, and then even up on top of these front fenders, you get your turn signals and then reflectors on the side. I really like how the hood sits on top, very squared off once again with another Mercedes logo. Then you can see these sharp lines running towards the windshield. I love the way everything comes together to make the G Wagon really stand out. Along the side profile, you're going to see a set of 18-inch wheels in all 4 corners in a split 5-spoke design finished in a machined silver. Then you can see how the front bumper connects to these fender flares, which also then connect to the running boards. Really cool the way everything is connected like that. You can see a sharp line in the lower portion of these doors, as well as the exposed door hinges. We get a V8 badge on the side, and then a really cool rub rail running through the entire side profile. You can see how in the rear we get a red reflector and then silver trim through that rub rail. We also get plastic black along the door handles and then body color along the tops of these mirror caps. There's an integrated turn signal and then plastic trim. Then from the side you can even see the gutters running up the windshield and all the way around the roof. And then the actual side profile, this is literally a box on wheels, extremely boxy, huge windows, and I just love how angled everything is. If we move our way to the rear, you get a trim piece on the back side of this window, and you can see just how tall everything looks in back. We get a set of LED taillights in back with a little bit of a curved design, as well as the release handle for the back swing gate. Third brake light is up top, and then we get the 5th spare tire in back with its own cover, finished in body colored and then polished chrome. We get G550 on this left side, and then a body colored rear bumper that's all integrated into the fenders just the way the front bumper was. You can see the trailer hitch, parking sensors, as well as a tow hook down below. Then we get the Mercedes logo right in the center and the backup camera in the lower side of that. So there's a good look at the exterior with some of the specifications on the newest generation G Wagon. Some people don't really like these. I personally think they look super cool just because it's something different. You do not see cars that look like this. We now have Mercedes key fob. Pretty simple, there's no smart key or anything like that. But if I keep the car locked, you will hear that. That sounds so cool when you lock and unlock. That just sounds so cool. So with the car unlocked now, when you open the door, it also has a really cool sound. It is just such a unique car. So with that said, let's check out this beautiful interior. This particular spec gets the Designo Macchiato Beige with Express Brown exclusive Napa leather throughout the interior. You're also going to see aluminum as well as wood trim accents, and you can just smell the leather aroma. Moving to this door panel, everything is covered in this beautiful soft leather, even going up around the window frame. You can see how nice everything is. We have your window controls and mirror controls up on top. Then you get this piano black with all these seat controls, heated and ventilated, lock and unlock and memory seat controls. You also get the brushed aluminum for this grab handle with quilted leather in the center, all the stitching, the nice satin wood trim where you can feel the grain. You get the release handle, and then part of the Burmester audio sound system. We get some storage down below and then another speaker. And then we get Mercedes-Benz written out in the door sill. And this logo even kind of looks like a G, which is kind of a cool little touch. On the side of the seat, you can see all the color. And then beautiful design for all the leather, quilted leather in the center with the perforated design. Hey, can you just see how premium everything is? This is a top tier luxury SUV. You even get pillows on these headrests that are adjustable. Super nice to see. Then we get this brown color for the steering wheel, wrapped of course in leather, and the brushed aluminum accent. And then now inside, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. You are going to see the ambient lighting all throughout the interior, underneath the dash and doors, and it even goes to the rear seats underneath. So certainly a extremely premium interior. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, we get a full LCD display for the center, and it flows its way into the center screen. So we have our tach and speedometer on the left and right with fuel and engine temperature. Then in the center, you get a configurable screen that you can control using these buttons. We have a haptic feedback button in the center, hit our home icon and get up top. And then from here, you can go through many different things. You can go into service, see any messages like that within the car. You can continue over for driver's assistance and easily scroll up and down through that. Then we have trip information, navigation can come up as well. If I go into previous destinations, you can see that. Then we also have radio, media, phone, and then our designs. If we go into here, we have a sport mode icon. You can see how it changes the design. We have the classic that you just saw, and then this one is kind of a more modern design. So I really like the way everything is laid out with these buttons. We also have all the cruise control settings on the left with your distance pacing, and then on the right side, we have controls for the nav screen as well as Bluetooth and audio. This works the same. If I tap the home icon, it goes to home, and then you can scroll over with that haptic button and see the center screen. We also have a set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, then your turn signal stalk on the left with wiper blades, and the drive select over on the right. We have controls on the left for parking sensors, and then the lane keeping, and then all of your headlight controls. We also have the electronic parking brake. You can see the aluminum trim with these really cool looking round gauges, more of this beautiful leather running across the entire dashboard. You have tweeters up top, a nice grab handle finish in wood trim, and then this aluminum accent, and then more wood trim all throughout the center. So then moving to the center screen, it is not touchscreen, so you just use the panel down here, hitting the home icon, you can get back to here, and just scroll with a rotary dial and see everything in here. Going under navigation, you can see your map, then just hitting the home or back button gets you back to that screen, and then you can rotate this dial once again. We have system settings in here, you can adjust everything like that. You can also go back to home, go under vehicle, and then you can adjust seats. Climate controls will pop up. You can see how everything is laid out. We have the dynamic select for all the different drive modes. You can customize your individual mode and things like that. Then if I go ahead and put the car into reverse, our backup camera pops up on this right side with all of your parking sensors on the left. Then using the rotary dial, once again, you can adjust how you'd like it. You can see your trailer hitch, a corner view for everything full screen. Then you can just go back to this main screen. Then just tapping the button, we're back into park. Beneath that, we have two more air vents, your locking differential controls for the front, center, and rear. Really nice to see this vehicle is super off-road capable. Then we have physical climate controls all down below. If you toggle this button up or down, it comes up on the screen with all those settings that we just saw earlier. So this is the shortcut. Then we have all the controls here for fan speed, zone, and temperature. You just toggle all these and they come up on the screen to see how everything changes. And then underneath those, we have an analog clock, some shortcuts for radio, nav, and things like that. Then all this really nice wood trim all throughout the center. If I open this up, we get two cup holders and then a slot to put your key in case the battery dies. You can see quilted leather on the side, more of the ambient lighting. Then all the different buttons right here. We can see our dynamic select for the different drive modes. You have comfort, eco, and then even an off-road mode, which is sweet to see in this. We have the manual select for the transmission and traction control. Then we have your volume on and off with radio, shortcut to your camera, and then the low range for the transmission. You can see more of the leather and the aluminum trim, and then quite a bit of storage space in the center console. And then moving to the glove box, this opens up, and we get a nice sized bucket. And then one last look at the interior with the new G Wagon. This is so premium, it's hard to convey that on camera, but this is a really nice place to be. Extremely high-end materials. And then up top, we get a full Alcantara headliner with a sunroof. And then more controls up top with speaker. You see all the dome lights and everything. And then your sunroof controls up front. And then moving to the rear seat space, I can just grab the door handle and open it up. Interior door panels finished off just like we saw up front, all the same materials. And then we get all the same beautiful leather all in back. This is a 3-seater bench row. You can see the headrests fold all the way down. We do get storage on the back side of the front seat. They even get their own climate control screen with temperature as well as fan speed, and then 2 vents in the center. You can open up this for a little bit of storage as well as a 12-volt. And then take a look at the seats. If I grab this center, we get a nice armrest with 2 cup holders. And then there's a strap on the side of the seat you can pull up and lift up the entire cushion and get this out of the way. You see how we have a little bit of access for tire changing equipment and things like that. And then if you grab this lever right here, these seats can fold all the way down and get nicely out of the way and fold perfectly flat. All right, so sitting now in the back of the G550, this is actually a pretty roomy SUV. This kind of gets some complaints being it is so big on the outside, the interior is not as big. This new generation is a huge difference from the old one. This is actually a pleasant place to be. I have plenty of headroom at 5'11", as you can see, and with the driver's seat set at my height, I got plenty of knee room. You have a great armrest on the right side. Left side, you're kind of more up on the sill instead of the actual spot down here. But then with the recline, it goes pretty far back to actually be comfortable. I could really go on a long trip in the back of this. We got dome lights as well as grab handles up top, and with the headrest up in this position, it's a pretty comfortable place to be. And then moving to the storage space, if I just grab the handle, I can swing this gate all the way out. On the backside, you're gonna see this beautiful quilted leather design with a grab handle, even a gas strut. It's not the biggest back here for being how large of an SUV it is. However, it is extremely squared off. You could fit quite a lot of luggage. I think 4 people could honestly go on a pretty good trip with this. You get a little cargo net on the left side and a speaker, and even a nice cargo cover. And with the seats folded down and the cargo cover removed, you can see just how much more storage space you're gonna get in the back of a G-Wagon. Going through here, these do fold down flat like I showed. There's a bit of a distance difference between here, here, and here. So it might not be the most practical thing in the world, and there's not really any space up there. But nonetheless, the G-Wagon is still pretty useful to put cargo in the back. All right, so we're gonna fire it up and set off in the G-Wagon. I gotta say, I really do like these. These are super cool. So we're gonna do a point of view to kind of see what it's like driving, and then we'll get my opinions in the later part of today's video. So that right there, the automatic lock, they just sound so cool. It's like a military vehicle, just kind of where the origins of the G-Wagon are. But with all of that said, this is a really comfortable place to be. You are nice and high up. You have a huge windshield as well, and you can really see out. You can see the entire hood and those corner lights. It's just easy to pinpoint where this SUV is. Super cool to see that. And I really love just how comfortable it is. This is a huge change between the older one. The older one drove like a Jeep Wrangler. This actually is comfortable. Not too much wind noise going at 50 miles an hour, but it's just so comfortable. And because these are all so straight up, you have an amazing view out the front and over your back, your left and right shoulder, really good view. So it's just super cool. You're really just high up. The materials are awesome. This is just so nice. Like, it really is. I can't comprehend. It is so nice in here, you know, right on par with like what a Bentley would be. This is just a really premium interior. And I like how actually simple the screens are to use. They're not that bad. Might be a little confusing to some people to get used to it, but honestly, it's a pretty cool layout, the way everything works. Changing up the screens and everything. But really, really nice. As far as power, so we were in eco mode. Let's go into sport mode and just hit the manual icon. It has a good rumble to it. There is something about that. Man, there's just like thunder every downshift. It handles pretty well too. I mean, it still is pretty top heavy, but it carries itself really well, you know, for the shape of it, for what it is and everything. It actually drives really nice. I'm really impressed with that, and it feels like such a solid SUV. All right, so flipping around now to this perspective, we'll get up to some speed. That was up to 60. there is so much meat. Mercedes V8s. Man. So taking this turn, I mean, you can feel it swaying a little bit, but it's actually not bad. The older one I've driven, definitely like a tank, completely different, but there's so much refinements in this car. And like I said, I am a big fan of these cars. I think they're kind of love it or hate it. This is not for everybody. It's very unique looking. It drives very differently compared to your typical luxurious SUV. So this is something that might take a little bit getting used to. But even in the sport mode, you know, it still is just that luxury refined vehicle. And I feel like when you're in this, you feel special. You feel like you're in something that nobody else has, something that's different. And if you want something more unique, you know, this is a vehicle to get. And one thing really cool, because it's such a box, everything is so high up and so squared off, with the sun, it's like 90 something degrees today, the sun's not really coming in at all. It really does shade you from the sun because you have a perfect roof that is completely at the farthest points, being a big square. So that is a really cool touch with just how it's designed, and how that design is also pretty functional. So I'll get up to speed again from second. Man. And of course, if you want even more performance, the G63, which we do have a video on, that thing is nuts. So really cool the way this car is laid out. I don't really have any complaints with the car because I am a big fan. You know, it is a little weird to get used to, I could say, and like I said earlier, it's not the most practical for how large it is. It's a big SUV, it's obviously very expensive, but, you know, Bentley Bentayga for the same price has a lot more interior space. You know, maybe Audi RS-Q8 or Lamborghini Urus. Those all have more space and I think are a little bit easier to use and more usable, and yet they're the same price. So you're really getting something a lot different. However, the G Wagon is the one of all of them that I'd say is really off-road focused. The fact that we have right front and center locking differential buttons. You don't see that in luxury vehicles. So the fact that Mercedes is telling you right there that you can lock 3 separate differentials, I mean, this is an off-roader. You can actually hit some terrain with it, do some trails, climb some rocks. I don't know how many people take their well over 6-figure SUV and do that, but this has the capabilities. And honestly, if you are going on maybe like some sort of camping trip or your weekend getaway at your mountain house, this is going to conquer any terrain to get up there. And then in the shade, all that ambient lighting just looks so cool. The only complaints I guess I would say is the fact that this isn't touchscreen. That's kind of crazy. I mean, this is an expensive car, and this isn't the most user-friendly thing in the world. I like the touchpad better. The rotary dial is a little old, so even though this is the newest generation, I would not mind seeing something different than this system. But other than that, this is just something else, something really nice. And the interior feeling, this is more of the base model, the G550. I mean, it's still got all the luxuries on the inside and plenty of power to do what you want to do with it, aside from getting the G63 or the crazy AMGs to get extra power, but you still get the amazing interior. So unfortunately, that's about it then for the G550, the newest generation Mercedes G Wagon. Super cool, just so cool. I'm just smiling all day driving this because it is just so cool. That is the best word to describe this SUV. It's so cool. So I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for plenty more content. And then big shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this Mercedes for today's video. Definitely take a look at their website, linked down below. They get in awesome inventory and have some sweet cars. So anyways, that's it guys. I'll see you in the next video.